Pay attention, fans of the St. Louis Fringe Fest in St. Louis here, Missouri. We do appreciate your attendance, especially our two favored friends here. Thank you, thank you. Okay, are we ready? Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, those who may soon be blessed with trinkets from the hard-working hands of the illustrious Trinket Queen. All hail the Trinket Queen! All hail the Trinket Queen! All hail the Trinket Queen! Yesterday, I was an ordinary Bill, and today my friends call me Blue Cheese Hat Head with noxious odor spikes. I'm here to story tell you about our Trinket Queen and our star crew of skilled crafters who have borrowed from the natural world these catalpa seed pods, painted them, and added on some word snippets such as time to escape and out with Fringe. These will be served free after my other two friends read to you this afternoon. The TQ, hearing about the good deeds of the Celestial Theater, such as slaughtering waterbeds, came to us from afar with our suitor, Solar Red. Do you see his photo? Their task was to make as many trinkets as possible. Since 1998, some 900 artworks have been passed out to the fair citizens of St. Louis and at the last 2 years of the St. Louis Fringe Fest, whom we perform for today. However, this is her first live appearance. All hail the Trinket Queen! All hail the Trinket Queen! All hail the Trinket Queen! Back to the story. After many joyous years of steady trinket production, jealous forces aligned against our queen. She stood accused of stealing another vendor's trinkets. Sad to say, that in the world of a Celestial Theater, you are guilty until proven innocent. Eventually, a warrant had to be put out for her arrest and the capture of Solar Red. The avant-garde galactic judiciaries also got involved and began a pursuit of the two. Eventually they were captured and put on trial. The final verdict was what no one was expecting: guilty!
Guilty as charged!
Solar Red went bonkers, destroying several jury members and even taking out the judge. The prosecutor then drew his weapon and shot Solar Red dead. The Trinket Queen was slated to be burned at an undisclosed location. However, at the Map Room Show of 2009, some big-time changes in the story occurred. It seems that the avant-garde had turned out to be traitors to us and conspirators of the bitch. We formed an allegiance of the Trinket Queen lovers. This allegiance was composed of 500 dragons led by Sandy, the dragon's older brother, the TQ's half-sister, the souvenir princess, the present empress, the gift goddess, key members of the Celestial Theater, a lethal force from the Star King of the Orionoids, and alien mercenaries loyal to the Trinket Queen. They first attacked the homeworld of avant-garde and won the battle. Another force stormed the prison on Earth and released the Trinket Queen unharmed. The combined force were redirected to Bunkersburg for a showdown with the bitch to clear the good name of the Trinket Queen and rescue Joey Jones, our patron god. At the show's end, The bitch exonerated the Trinket Queen via a letter discovered on her person. With the following apology, she is now a redeemed and forgiven performer. So ends the story for today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like to introduce our newest Virginal Troupe member with her first afternoon of performing for the Celestial Theater. And boy, does she have a story to tell. Please share some love for Ruby Tuesday. Woo.
Performance venue that FM 88.1 has provided. My script will not be a tell-all about the affairs of my heart, but I have found a new lovely friend in the Trinket Queen. All hail the Trinket Queen! All hail the Trinket Queen! All hail the Trinket Queen! Yes, I am new to this brand of bizarro behavior, and while preparing for my reading earlier in the week, the Trinket Queen dropped by and offered me a cup of Maxeiner tea from Tishan in her 4th floor suite. I replied, yes, that would be lovely. Upon entering her room, I felt the floor swaying gently back and forth, and even in the walls had a slightly undulating quality about them. Was the room alive in some way? She assured me no, that wasn't the case, but she had arranged for her living space to float like a bubble in a light breeze. My first question to her was that if she held any hard feelings against the theater over her rough times years ago when she was almost burned at the stake. No, not really, she replied. I knew I wasn't guilty in the slightest, and that the truth would carry me through. Anyway, like most of the theater members, I would have loved a good fire. Then she stood up and levitated, saying, you know, every so often I feel completely crazy. Turn on those wax lights and stand back while I get some exercise this evening. With that, the room seemed to expand. She began rotating slowly. As the black lights kicked in her bright neon colors were only surpassed by the light from a god's eye. Her wooden wind chimes increased in volume as her speed ramped up. Then she slowed and said, the last night I let loose, the whole neighborhood complained. I told her just try to stay below 90 knots, as we should be fine. Hand me some licorice, she said. I passed some to her myself and headed to a hanging basket chair as her colors flew across the room. And in that glass eye shot out laser beams to the startled possums who had gathered to watch on the window sill. After her exercise was over, I drilled her with some questions. Trinket Queen, where were you born and what is your age? I'm trying to get more familiar with the history of the Celestial Theater. My birth was in a carnival's mood, woodworking shop far from Earth. I must be 4,000 years old by now, but only heard of Earth about 300 years ago. I learned first of the avant-garde's judicial power over most of the Milky Way galaxy, as they have a base close to Earth. After the founding of the Celestial Theater in 1970, Solar Red and I traveled to Earth to audition for this troupe. Tell me about your fellow goddesses. Well, my half-sister is the souvenir princess who has been to Bonkersburg looking for Sandy the Dragon and George Jones. The gift goddess is a good friend of mine. The present empress is from the Coma Bereniceus galaxy. I thank you for your great information, and I hope we can talk more later. But for now, I must turn the stage over to Bodo Don to finish up our stage time. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ruby Tuesday. Thank you.
the hilarious one. And I appreciate being on this stage, not nearly as much as you must appreciate us. Dada theater is when theater turns on its audience and doesn't need it anymore. And for that, I appreciate the fact that I delight you so much. And my most famous and favorite words are my words when I decide to say them. And I decide your answer. A year ago, I started in with the Celestial Theater Troupe for St. Louis, the Fringe Fest, and apparently they're in the business of just having fun. They're entertaining the audience. But just look at her and look at us, and let me tell you what you see. I see, of course, the catalpa seed, a symbol of avant-garde theater. Handouts, otherwise known as the trinkets, soon you'll have your pick of them, and they will journey with you on your personal land of happiness, which is so small compared to the happiness that we will give you. Will you be happy then? Will you be happy, or would you prefer being happy right now without us telling you how happy you are at watching us? And I see a colorful ball and shaker being held by a wonderful creature whom she herself has called a virgin. And she waves this token of Dada art at the audience. Rituals put forth by us, the Celestial Theater, as we dispense your happiness and tell you how to feel. I have traveled far, even today, from Universe 1. Bingo! That's the universe I decide it is. And then Universe 2, which is Bonkersville. Yes! We decided to use Bonkersville. My mind is beginning to burn for Bonkersville, hence the need for some sort of refreshment. But I can still feel my toes as I feverishly look around the server and to see if I may be carrying forth refreshments from this audience that is beneath us, for we are art beyond the audience, turning on the audience. I would like my refreshment. I have some personal lines for you to consider. Inside of us, each one of you is a spark of revolution that can be ignited by one act of creativity. And for that, we are the Celestial Theater.
All right, thank you. We will now hand out the trinkets to those who wish them. Very great, thank you.
You know, they didn't follow. And I thought, hey, I'll contextualize it. See what's it.
Would you like the seed pod?
Here's the model.
Don't be afraid.
They're kind of like
Frankie, it's okay. He wants to touch this guy.
Oh,
It's okay.
touch the trinket queen.
You want that?
Yes, please touch the. No,
You
take
can
it.
have
And you're invited to touch the trinket queen. Oh, that's okay.
You don't want to?
You want to get a picture with the trinket queen?
Cool. I'll give you $1.
She's friendly.
I'm going to touch it as well. Okay, thank you, Annie. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Okay.
Do you see what is going on around me? Shh! Don't silence the weirdness. Let them have fun in their fall-centric daytime. They should be coddled and like children and keep them happy and fed. You want courage for life. No, we cannot cage the children. But maybe if this gets out of hand, I can use a cage. Let me add that my clothes show summer. Traffic. As long as the children don't go running out into traffic, everything will be just fine. So look here once again. So look here. These two are like simpletons and animals. Engrossed in a pleasure enough activity, as we have more than many windows that they can smash. Maybe I could steer them down the street. There are plenty of windows for one another. Let us stay with this crowd. But if anybody has a spare space, face shield, please pass it over. I have written a new poem about my frolickers, and the title is If Only I Were a Ball. If only I were a ball, my head would be spinning, like our friend the moon spins. But the moon can play with our souls. Drink moon today, but we cannot play with the moon. Okay? Drink from the waters of our souls and let these two have fun now. The sun is another faraway ball of heat. If only I could hold it in my arms and quickly pass it on to my friends here, like they pass their ball, running around. Then what think ye of playing with the sun? I pose a question. Why, ball, why? I answer the question. It is what it is. What it is like balls falling from the sky, like dreams escaping. I saw an eclipse across my face. The game is ended, and I have a bloody nose.
Cut. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, roll.
Hi, ball lovers everywhere. The stars are with us. Instead of reading some goofy stutterings like the first guy read, I am more astute and learned than to participate in such rapidly irreparable. My recent field of learning, aside from life theater, happens to be astronomical and astrological assignments. As regards the past, present, and future of the celestial theater, so this whole spheroid thing does intrigue me to no end. Even though out of my peripheral vision, I can tell that they are nearly busting those balls, abusing those balls. Is this a crime, I ask? I should be local alderman? Or perhaps wire my complaints to the ball chief at the head of the College of Astronomics here in St. Louis? No, I do not want to expose myself as a tattletale, but will just have to concentrate more on my treaty summary I wrote last night. Here is the core thought of my research as presented by myself, Dr. Ruby Tuesday. In the past of the Celestial Theater, I can see that they have used circular shapes before both 2D and 3D. I know this because I have done an extensive pre-show time-consuming review of their videos. Sometimes the spheres have been used in quite a serious manner as to depict some foreign planet where one of them might hail from. But today is going to be much further for my comfort level and even some of those around us. He kicks, he scores, and when two duels circle me like logs wanting to have sex with the sun, and obviously that heat has gotten to their synapses. Sorry I said that. It's not like me. This is no regular soccer match with these two when the earth is currently consumed with all the around us that we can see. Is it foosball? No, maybe yes now. Let me summarize the present as according to my research notes that I am reading. Here I ask the cameraman just to pan around at what you're doing with these balls. Is this somebody's idea of fun? When will we all be arrested? Should I hurry up and get through my research findings before I get bopped upside the head? Because I can tell this tape needs is more practice and direction than I think of. Looks like a squirrel to do better than this guy, rolling like an acorn around me than what the scene passes for idle entertainment at the Grand Center Zoo. An intersection of madness and a wrong kind of foolish. Now, on to the summary of the theater's future and my concluding remarks. Actually, after what I am witnessing live for today, it scares me off from any predictions on this theater's future. And I shall think I will just burn all my research papers as soon as I can. Yet, the Celestial Theater name sounds ballsy, of course. As to the whole space thing, stars and whatnot, so my prediction is, of course, to get out of my face and off my body with those balls. Leave me alone, leave me alone.
Wow, good one.
One.
I am not a ball, but I wish I was because a ball has so much fun. Give me a ball now. Give me a ball now. No. Because my brain is burning in the shade, even now as I speak. Listen, I love these balls because I aspire to float in the sky like the ball of the sun. So how can I elevate this random ball to the height of the sun? There is no way that can happen. So I am depressed. And I get these balls out of my face, please. I have decided I am going to run away and go to bed with a wooden square, a metal wooden square, instead of these soft and squishy play toys. Now, get out of my face. Get out of my life. You assemblage of idiots. I am done with you today. This nonsense. Let's all get out of here. We are done. I so thank you. Cut.
Wow, that was a good return.
I thought we were supposed to throw balls
You went
too.
dark or?
Oh, Don and I